Okay, we are now streaming live here on Facebook. I am with ChaCha, the the intuitive interior designer of the soul of your home. And gosh, it was really funny because as ChaCha and I were preparing for this interview, we're, fluffing up our hair and doing the background, and ChaCha laughs and she goes, yeah, you're fluffing your hair and I'm flattening mine. Funny the things that we do to, make sure, do I look okay?
To look our best.
I know. So ChaCha, when did we actually meet? It's a few years ago now, but it was in Toronto.
Yeah, long time ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah. And I remember we met at it was a birthday party that we both were invited to, Helen's. And she asked me to give you a lift. And so I was going to pick up this woman. Yeah, that's it. And then you got in the car and we just, and stayed connected since then. So, and also I to know that I've also had the privilege of seeing ChaCha's work, her interior design work, and in homes, and also her art. And I've just been blown away by her art. The exhibitions that you've had, ChaCha, oh my God, I got transported away. So, as we were discussing this and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to interview you. I just knew there was just so much value and you have so much that you can offer people. So I want to thank you so much for your time and, for being here. And I'm going to have you introduce yourself just in a moment, but I'm going to welcome people who are watching in, because I know that a lot of people have been hanging out for this interview and for our time together. And so if you are watching in and you're with us here live, please comment, drop a line below, say where you're coming in from. Always love to know, and to, you can read each other's comments. Well, you can see people coming in from all around the world. And it is so exciting. And I are here in Mexico at the moment, so in different places, but that's really cool. And also, if you've got any questions, because as we go through this, as we're talking, as I'm asking questions of ChaCha, you're going to have questions too. So please write them in the comments, and then ChaCha and I will go in afterwards, and we're going to respond to everybody. So thanks for being here and tuning in. So ChaCha, do you want to start off and just say a little bit, to people, maybe a little bit about your background and how did you get into this?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. Very happy to be here. How did I get into this? Yeah, my journey has been one of, I started off, I grew up in a farm, very rural area, and, I was encouraged to do paint by numbers, and nothing wrong with paint by numbers, but it's very limiting when you're a very creative person. So it took me a long time to understand that I was creative. I didn't understand how I fit in. It's taken me a long time. And so many years ago, I think it was like 2009 or something, and I had done some design for sure before then, but my girlfriend, my oldest friend in Toronto, my friend Michelle, who's this beautiful writer, and she called me up one day and she said, ChaCha, I want to hire you to come over and help me design my deck. And she had this whole second floor of this old manor in High Park, and her partner has the third floor. So, and it was in that process of really understanding what she was needing it for, and the space and the budget and everything, that it just came together so beautifully. I think it was, I refer to this a lot in my work. There's a lot of magic that happens And I think when you're doing your work, magic happens. If you can notice it. Anyway, just things fell into place. And she, at the end of it, she was so happy. And she just said, this is what you should be doing, because I was struggling. I was in the fashion industry. I did all kinds of industries that were, you know, creative, but this one really, really worked really well. And I noticed that it was working well for my clients. So that's really how it got started. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? You know, that when we are listening to our spirit, things like that happen. Someone invites you, would you help me with this? And it's like, sure, you didn't doubt whether you could, and you weren't advertising yourself at that time. It was just, you know, and the universe offers these invitations, and then you go there. And as you do that, something feels so good and so right about that. And you start finding that it's an expression for you. Yeah. So I've got so many questions for you, and I'm thinking, let's just take it, you know, bit by bit. So firstly, your, like in your art, and one of the things that you say, or the way that you express yourself creatively, is like on your website, you wrote, "It is imperative in my work to be conscious of the impact we are making on our world." And I know what you mean by that, but would you say a little bit more about what you mean when you say that?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to start off with a little bit of a negative, because the interior design market has a huge impact on the world, in the environment. And I actually audited a course from Brazil, these beautiful Brazilian people, and they have this incredible course. And, you know, it's really technical, like we're getting to flow ventilation and paints and everything. But a lot of interior design is really not kind to the environment. Now I'm doing it on a very practical level. And so I think we all just are aware, and we all care. I'm sure everyone on this call cares. We all want to be more conscious of what's happening with our planet. And I have a really a great little example to show you. I'm living in Mexico, I'm renting, and there was this, you know, there was a drip in the bathroom, and it was creating moisture, and there was a shower curtain, and this shower curtain is plastic, and there's a lip, and it doesn't even need a shower curtain. So I just took it out, washed it, because what's happening is this dripping is creating an unhealthy environment in the home. Then it's creating an unhealthy environment inside of us. The plastic, if people don't clean them, you're just going to have to get another plastic shower curtain. And now and it costs money. And this all costs money. If you go to my site, I'm really good at, I really pride myself that I really don't like to spend money. Let's invest money in your home, but spending money needlessly is not, you'll find that even my very, very wealthy clients, they go, "Oh my God, ChaCha, you really are true to that." I said, yeah. So, and then I moved into this home, and the same thing, there was this massive shower area, and there was a shower curtain, and it didn't need a shower curtain. And so it's like, but we get so used to the shower curtain, you know, and so we just think, well, we need a shower curtain. But you don't. First of all, it's not going to spray outside. And even if it does, it's just a couple drops of water. It's not a big deal. But we're into this, you know, we need to think outside the box. We need to think differently about how we're doing things, because this all impacts the environment, right? And just with, and it's not just the plastic, it's like the air quality in the bathrooms and whatnot. This is all environmental.
So these are all the things that you think about, like when you go in someone's house, or when you work with them online or in person, that you're thinking about the environment, you're thinking about the flow of energy, the flow of water, the flow of air, what they've got where and why. You're questioning everything. One of the things that and I can really see that because like I follow you on Instagram, and the images that you put up. I mean, you will be walking just down the street and you'll pick up a piece of garbage and you'll just move it and put it up against a wall or something like that. And you, from a particular angle, you take a photo of it, and it is the most amazing, delightful, an insightful piece of art, just that. And so so if so just talking to the audience now, you might want to follow ChaCha on Instagram. She really is true to that. She's very environmental, and so these are the things she's conscious of. And she also creates art with sometimes just with garbage, and what someone else calls garbage, and what she sees. So beauty really is in the eye of the beholder, and sometimes we just need to shift perspective, and there it is. So
and if I could just add something onto that, it's like some of the pieces I pick up because they tell a story, and we want to continue those stories, and other stories need to be let go of, like old furniture that's been in the family for years, and people have gone through wars and whatnot. Maybe we need to let that go, even though it's so treasured in your house. I mean, that is a bigger conversation, and I have to go through that with clients. But, there's different ways of looking at the stories with pieces,
Yes, I bet. So just on that, what is your Instagram handle, ChaCha? So people can, we'll put that in the link below in case right here.
Sure. I think at the time, there's a lot of ChaChas in the world. I didn't know that. And so I actually have an extra cha in there. So it's just ChaCha Chapin. And that's my Instagram handle. Yeah, we'll put it in. Might be confusing with all those chas. But yeah, I needed to add another cha, so I did, and that's how it works.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, you're the only ChaCha I know. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one of the things that we've been saying about your work, because you've been telling me some amazing stories, and I look forward to you sharing more about them, is how the way we keep our home, the way someone keeps their home, tells you so much about their finances, their relationships, their personal life, where they're stuck, where they're flowing, that kind of thing. So, how did you discover that how people live in their homes actually reflects on aspects of their lives? And can you give us some specific examples of what you've seen?
Yeah, I guess I just, I'm a very intuitive, and I've always really studied people and how they move, and what they say, and oh, they said that and they're over here, like I've always just been in that world. But I'm not a feng shui expert. I want to make sure the audience knows that. I don't like that total intricacy of feng shui, but the basic principles to me are just common sense. Like messy house, messy mind. We all feel better when we clean our house, because you're cleaning the atmosphere, you're cleaning the air, you're cleaning. It's like when you have a shower at the end of the day, you're actually washing your auric field off, all the people that you've picked up during the day, right? So, you know, this is kind of a pretty basic one. I could give you this example.
Let me add something in that though.
Sure.
Many years ago, somebody told me, it was a spiritual leader that I followed and worked with, and he said, never go to bed with the dishes not done. And ever since he said that, I have never gone to bed with the dishes on, and I'm talking like well over 30 years, you know.
Wow, that's impressive. That was, you really heard that.
I did, because it was the difference that it made energetically. When I woke up in the morning, walked into the kitchen, I felt great. The countertop was clean, fast, oh, I'm too tired, I'll do the dishes later. You walk in and it's like, oh God, I got to do the dishes. Like, you wake up complaining already. So,
well, you're waking up in yesterday is what you're doing. That's energy, and I think that's the biggest thing with all of this work, is everything is energy. How are we living in the energetic field of our homes? How is it affecting us? So you want to get up every day now for 30 years. You're waking up and you're like, you can create your whole day from scratch because everything's in ready,
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah.
So tell us about, like how, oh, that's right. You were talking about how you discovered that people's homes reflect what's going on in their life. Can you share about relationships? Like example of what, you see something in a home and what that can say about someone's relationship.
Yeah, I mean, to answer that, I could answer that in many ways. I could say, like, the relationship you have to, like, a form of art that you want to do, or a relationship to a person. I've helped people. One of the two common areas that people want help with with the feng shui is abundance and relationship. And when I look at the abundance or the relationship area, I worked with a friend of mine, and then I went there, and she had all these pieces representing like more than one partner, and she only wanted one partner. And so I said, but you're in bed with all of these people. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean? So then she, oh my God. And then she saw it. And then she cleaned it all up. And sure enough, she met her guy, and that's what she wanted. So it's really your intention, but you have to be clear with intention. Like, I'm sure you know this better than anyone. This is, the magic you bring to the world, right? And I see this with the abundance area. In fact, I might tell you a little story about how I got into doing virtual interior design. Way before, it's a little bit of a thing now. There are people out there doing it, but I didn't know. I just got this hit one day. What if I could just do it online? And then I kept getting like all these like confirmations about it. So I asked my girlfriend, I said, could I help you? Let's just try this. So we looked at where her abundance area was in her home, and it was totally congested. Nothing could move, nothing could flow in there. And sure enough, we've worked on it for a couple of hours just online. And at the time, she was a single mother, renting with 2 children. And I don't want to take the credit, but she always said that was absolutely what started the ball rolling. And now she just paid $600,000 outright and owns her home.
Wow.
But I also,
Wow.
yeah, but I also
So,
taught her the principles because I don't, I want to empower. I want to
mm,
empower. Mostly my clients are women, but some men. But then she learned the principles and now she can keep applying them through her life, right?
oh my God. So
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
seeing something right now as we're talking,
yeah,
is
yeah.
that
Mm,
the the reason that you can see, I mean, you have those gifts because you're looking there. You can see what's going on in someone's life just by looking at their home and what they have there, where they have it, how
yeah,
much of
yeah.
it they have there. You can see that because it's like the energy, everything is energy, right? So the energy that is flowing through us, it's flowing through our consciousness, like how we speak expresses the energy that flows through us, how we dress, how we relate, and also like how we keep our home is, I'm going to say that as I hide a towel that I've had hanging over the chair for a couple, you know, our
Yeah.
home expresses, it's all part of the self, it's all part of our expression. It's not just the words we say. It's everything we have around us, everything. Oh my gosh. Like I remember many, many years ago, I used to always love wearing something that had something wrong with it.
Mm,
For example,
mm,
I had this jacket that that was back in the day with the big shoulder pads, and it was this
yeah.
huge jacket, and it had a stain on it, just kind of like on the lapel. And it was like I wore that jacket proudly, and it was, and I can even see, stepping back and looking at that, that was like an expression of, like, I was wanting to dare to be different, but it was a way of rebelling in the world, of, you're not supposed to walk around with a stain on your jacket,
Hmm.
something like that. So
Yeah.
that so our furniture and our everything around us in our environment will also be that expression, and it's hard to see it when you're in it, because we
Yeah.
see our own eyes. It's like you're blind to the dirty dishes, or you're blind to the dirt, but whereas you are going to look at someone's home and you're going to see what they can't see.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
And teach them. I'm a teacher. I have clients come back and they'll show me things and it's like, oh, you did it. It looks amazing. Because I think the whole beautiful thing about the virtual is that it's very empowering. Don't we all want to be empowered? So, if I come to your house and I just do it all for you, and then you won't learn it. You might not, or you won't keep it going, but if you understand the basics of it, then you feel it. Like my friend felt it. And then you can say, well, is it the chicken or the egg, like, because her abundance area was now open and flowing, she also has that positive reinforcement. I mean,
Mm,
there's a physical reinforcement, but there's also a mental emotional reinforcement. Oh, it's flowing. Great, it's coming.
exactly.
It's here. It's landed,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because that
yeah.
shifts our energy. So you
Hmm.
shift your mental, or the energy flowing through you, and begin to shift your environment, or you can shift your environment, and that is going to impact and shift here.
Yeah.
So, okay, can you give us an example of, let's say, um, let's say where someone might be stuck in their life? What would be something in their environment that would tell you or indicate that they were stuck?
Well, I mean, I could say it's a little bit of mess, but that's not always it, because it's more when because I listen very carefully to my client, and they go, they want to do this, and then I look at their home and I'm going, but you can't do that. It's not set up for that. So it's kind of a two-way street. It's like, well, I really want to play my music and have my guitar, and I want to do this and this and this, you know, but they can't access it. Or if they access it, it's in a place where they don't feel comfortable doing it there, you know? So it has to be, you know, there's several, it's like a puzzle, you know, our homes are like a puzzle. They need to get put into the right pieces. Some have to disappear. Sometimes we got too many pieces of the puzzle in a home. Other pieces have to come in. But if they don't have room, when I hear what they're wanting to do, and I can see that's a very good indication of where they get stuck. You know.
So where would be a very good indication of where they get stuck?
Could be anywhere. I mean, it's, oh, you mean stuck within themselves?
Yeah. And then how that would reflect in what you go into someone's house and you can see, you can tell, you know, like it'll reflect, you can tell that they're stuck inside because this is what's showing up in their home.
Yeah, it usually comes down to a lot of clutter. People hang on to things for far longer than they should. Or they think to get rid of something, but they don't know what to replace it with. Or they just don't have room in their house. If you don't have room in your home, how would you create a new future? Your whole life is all around you and there's no room to create a future. I mean, I'm a minimalist, but I'm not an extreme minimalist. But I need a certain amount of space to grow into. You know, so if you have that can keep them stuck. I see that. And they can feel that. Like my one client said, I feel like I can't breathe. And yeah, that's actually a post on my projects. I've got instead of blogs, I call it projects on my website. And she wanted to live at home or work at home. And we had to completely revamp everything. And when we were all done, I'll share a moment with you. When we were all done, we didn't have wine. I think we had a cup of tea, but we sat down in front of the fireplace. It was that feeling when you were 25 years old and you just got your first apartment. The whole future was like waiting for her and me too, because it felt so good, because that's what she wanted. She wanted space, you know? And she was just bogged down with all of this stuff. And she, I mean, I can post it on the feed after what she said. I didn't even understand how she was feeling in that it you know, it's painful how she was actually living in her home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that there's a few examples. So that's how come, like you ask questions and you find out what's really going on and what someone.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so sometimes, you know, someone being, you know, having something stuck inside that's not, you know, it's not flowing would be they have a desire to, you know, do something, whether it's do work or play music, and they just can't find that place inside their house. And they design their house for it. There's not a or it can be messiness, but not always. And messiness is different from clutter. And clutter can also indicate stuckness now. So given that you've mentioned that, oh, and I want to just, speak to the people listening in. So if you are just coming in or you have come in just a little while ago, please drop a line below, say hello, and say also where you are coming in from. And questions, ask them. And any comments you've got, because ChaCha and I are going to go in after and we're going to respond to everything. Now, going back to this declutter, because also too, I've got a question here from Melanie. So I'm going to just read the question. We're going to take this because I think there are a lot of people here who want to know about the declutter. They know they should, they know they have to, they kind of want to, and that's what Melanie says. She says, I've got several questions, but I think the most important one would be how to declutter and downsize, to let go of so many memorabilias. She says, I feel I'm on the verge of becoming a hoarder because it's so hard to let go of stuff. Saying a lot in there, ChaCha.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
And there's a heaviness there because it's like, we all do this, not just Mel, we carry a lot with us. And there's a very basic question that I heard a long, long time ago, and I use it with all my clients. Your things either own you or you own them. And that's the deciding factor. So if they own you, you're carrying all of that energy around in your life. Even when you leave the house, you're carrying all that energy. There's about 3 parts to this question. I'll talk about the memorabilia. That's a very tricky one, and it's a very heartfelt one. So I have worked with a client in Toronto. It took us several weeks, literally, to go through her bedroom, and because she had all of these beautiful pieces from family in New York City, and but she literally had to go through them one at a time. And I guess I feel I'm, I think it's hard to help people if you haven't done this yourself. And I have done this myself, like in spades. Like, I had a really big sickness many, many years ago, and I thought, well, if I'm going to die, I better start living. And I sold everything and I went to Spain. And another friend of mine, so I got my stuff down to like about 2 cubic meters of things. That was it. And my other friend, Mark, dear friend of mine, he put all his stuff in storage. We both really, really wanted to live in Europe, not just visit, live in Europe. And I'll try to shorten this story, although this is such an amazing story. I'd love to tell it in its entirety. But anyway, we both went to Europe. He went to Berlin, I went to Spain. I was in Barcelona. And he had to go back to Canada because he had everything in storage. I was footloose and fancy free because I just, I put it somewhere I didn't have to worry about it. But I did have to go back to Canada because my stuff took me back to Canada. Okay, but here's the really interesting part of this story. When I decided I was going to go to Spain, I called up Mark first and I said, Mark, I'm getting rid of everything. You can come and take whatever you like. So he took all the good stuff. He has really good taste. So he took all the good stuff. And of course, as you know, the story goes, he had to go back to Toronto. And I was still flitting around in Europe and Thailand. And then he got sick. There's a sad part to this story. He got really sick. I lived with him the last year. I came back to Toronto and lived with him. And when I got back to Toronto, you cannot believe this, I was offered so many of my things back. And then he died and I got my things back from him. Like, what are the chances of that? So now to carry on and finish this story about memorabilia, Mark was a collector. We both worked for the film industry for a while. So we had amazing pieces, not from the film industry, but just amazing pieces. This movie director from RoboCop came in and hired us both because he just saw our apartment. It was incredible, right? But here's me. I don't want to stay in Toronto. How am I going to carry all these beautiful things around with me? So it's a process. And, you know, and I take clients through this and I help them get to this point, because you don't just do it easily. But I'm down now to a spoon. And it's not even in a spoon that you can't find, but it's a very special spoon. And it was Mark's spoon, and I make my coffee with that every morning. And I think about him.
So,
and that's how I carry him with me.
So have you let go of everything except for a spoon, or you're using that just symbolically to say you've let go of a lot?
I've let go of it all.
Wow, 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 wow. So what I hear you saying, ChaCha, is that firstly, there are no, there's no steps specific. Number one, pick that up, throw it out. Number two, you know, it's not like that. And I really appreciate how you acknowledged it in the beginning. So when I read that question that Melanie has, you could feel the heaviness in there. And the first thing you said was, your stuff either owns you or you own it. So that's the thing, you know, if something is owning you, then you're keeping it out of obligation, or there's something there, but it's heavy. And, you know, and then, and it may be because there's lots of memorabilia, there's lots of, you know, memories attached with it, but that needs to be acknowledged. And you said that you spent 3 weeks, you know, with this woman to help her declutter her bedroom. And I know that there are some people who are listening in and going, 3 weeks, is that all? For me, it's been 3 years. I've been trying to, you know, clear or declutter. But, and so I really get that you, you know, working with you in that would make a huge difference. And it's different for each person. But can you say, like, maybe just give one, like maybe to Melanie, maybe just, you know, maybe just, can you leave her with one tip, something that might help her? So, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to clarify just before I get into that, like, not everybody has to get down to a spoon. It's my life. This is where I'm at. And my friend I helped for 3 weeks, she got down to an amount that she could carry with her. I'm not talking into the world. I'm talking in, because it's energetically, she could carry that with her. She's not moving out of her house. She may never move out of her house, but energetically she could carry that. So first of all, you got to do it in small batches. You can't, this is extremely emotional work. And you've got to be gentle with yourself. And what I would say to, like, my friend that I helped, we became friends, I'd say, get rid of the obvious. Get rid of this obvious things you don't need. What is that doing over there? You don't need that. It doesn't even belong in this room. You know, you got a bathroom item in the bedroom or whatever it is, right? Like you got to get it down, because what happens is that we have to understand that we're so complex as people, right? And that when you walk into a room, you know, I'm looking at your place right now, and you've got like turquoise, windows and shades and the roof, and I can see like your brain takes all of that in. So when you walk into a room that's got too much stuff and maybe too much memorabilia, whoa, that is emotional. Your brain is, whether you're aware of it or not, your brain is actually doing that. So think of it as like a computer. You know, we need to defragment. We don't want to crash the computer. It's too much. And so what happens is people get overwhelmed and they walk out, and then they just go, oh, I'll deal with that another time. And another month goes down by, and another year goes by. And that's why I'm very good at holding space. I'm very good at helping people with this process. I have found I'm very good at it because I've done it so much myself. When I did that first house, that wasn't that easy to do, and I've done it several times, and now I'm down to like, oh, I can let it go. But it took time to get there. So yeah, you got to start with the obvious. You start slowly, and you may just even set a timer, half an hour. When that timer goes, you're going to stop, you're going to go outside, and you're going to breathe some fresh air.
Wow.
You know?
Those are really good tips. That is really helpful and really acknowledges what people are experiencing. Because I think people judge themselves so much. Like, I shouldn't have all this clutter.
Yeah.
All I have to do is just, or someone will walk in and say, well, look, why don't you just pick up a whole bunch of stuff and throw it out or whatever. And there's just no acknowledgement of the
no.
Yeah, that's real. Oh, and this is my place. This is a friend's house.
No,
right now.
No,
He's like, oh no, I wouldn't put that there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as the brain, you see, the brain's going through that. So
true.
Yeah. And you can also set a timer, like maybe every Tuesday morning you do it for an hour, but there's also a process I have found, like, of really, you got to take it down to these bite-sized pieces. Yeah. Especially when you're talking about memorabilia, because I mean, really, we have them in our hearts, but we are attached to things because things carry energy, right? Everything's energy. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And that comes back to, earlier, just all the energy flowing through us is an expression. And so even your home, how you, the things you have there. And so that's how you can see someone has a lot of attachments to the past. There's going to be a lot of memorabilia there. And so essentially what you're doing is you let go of memorabilia. You're also letting go of the past. Now, in saying that, though, like if someone does, want to have some pictures there of the family, or, which is the past, like, what do you have to say about that? Like, is that okay?
Well, they have to choose that. They have to decide what's important to them. Like, if that is important to you, then you keep that, Maybe in a year from now, they revisit it and they decide, you know what? I'm keeping the picture again another year, but I'm going to get rid of those old belts of grandma's that I never use. I never wear. And my daughter doesn't want to wear it. So it's like, you kind of have to, because we're naturally abundant. We naturally keep accumulating things. One of the things that I do with my clients too is that once we're done, there's a whole little time that I spend with them on how to keep it at bay. Because if not, your house is just going to fill up again.
Wow, I can so get that. I've got one burning question left.
Mm-hmm.
Although I got, lots more, but I'm also at our time too. So
yeah.
can you tell us about a time when you worked with someone and after that, the person's life started to transform? I mean, you've shared a couple stories already. You shared an abundance one.
The relationship one, the abundance one. Yeah, just
What about
what else? Let me think of it.
Oh, okay. There's a story you told me that I'm thinking of, which was it was a guy you worked with, and I hope I don't have my facts wrong. And he had broken up with his partner, they had broken up like years ago, and yet it was still kind of, entangled and awful, like a not really nice connection with her. And what you discovered is he had underneath his bed was her suitcase filled with
yeah, that was a recent one too. Oh my goodness. The relationship was so toxic. Oh my goodness, you could have really helped them. The relationship was very toxic. He was madly in love with her. And I can say I know enough, I think, about relationships. It's very codependent. And because he had better Wi-Fi than me, I was helping a client online. And when he heard that about he had her suitcases underneath his bed. And so he mentioned it to me a couple of days later. I said, you have her suitcases underneath your bed. You need to get rid of those right now. You need to give them back to her. You're sleeping with her indirectly. Well, and so he did. And I had him take them out and put them elsewhere, but he took the next step and sent them to her house. And sure enough, the relationship is absolutely severed now. And it really needs to be. They can't move on. Like, it's just, stuff carries energy. We have to keep remembering that everything has energy.
Yeah.
Oh,
ChaCha, I know we could carry on. And I want to let people know. So if you are listening in, or if you are watching the replay, please, write in the chat, say hello and where you're from, any questions and comments, and you can take it further with ChaCha. Okay. So I want everybody to know what we're going to doing is, putting in the post ChaCha's contact details, and her website and all of that. But also, ChaCha, you've got a special offer for people. So do you want to let people know about that?
Yeah, so I want everybody an opportunity to just do a free consultation with me. You may just say, hey, I got one question. You're curious, or you're challenged with something. And then if you want to work with me, I am putting together a really beautiful introductory package, basically 2 sessions, and I get an overview of you. You have to do a tiny little bit of homework for me, and send that in to me. And then we meet online, and I can help you from there. And then you can, book me as much or as little as you like, depending on your needs. So that way you're not buying a whole package that you may not need or whatever, but this is enough to get you going.
Wow. So you're offering to start off with is a free introductory session with you.
Yeah.
And how long is that free introductory session?
I just set it for 15 minutes because it may be just something really simple that you need.
15 minutes with you is a lot. So free 15 minutes. So we're going to put in the post here is a link to ChaCha's diary. So you can go right in there and book in a consultation, 15 minutes with ChaCha, and have a chat. So.
And I'm going to add, because this is probably a good place to do it. I know there's some of your listeners are in New Zealand or Australia, whatever, wherever they are in the world. if the timing doesn't work, please just email and we'll figure something out.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't want people to have to get up at, some ridiculous hour when they would rather be having their morning meditation and coffee or something.
Oh, very good. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
and you and I can talk about the time frames and stuff. So
Yeah,
it all works. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
ChaCha, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and all of your energy.
Thank you.
It's been really, really
Thank you.
insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoy sharing this. So I love doing it. It's I think it's my best step forward with helping people in the world. The home environment makes such a difference. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for listening in. Thank you for your interest, your curiosity, and your commitment to make your life more fulfilling, because that's what this is all about, is about living a fulfilling life now. And it means being curious about what are things that can get in the way of you having and being in life the way you want to be. So thank you for being with us. And yeah, we'll see you again another time. Mwah! Bye.
Bye.